Brian, you've got a another one that kind of ties into your first one, right? But it's sort of the other side of the coin, maybe. And I don't know what's been happening in the Python world that you sort of orbit in that might make you think about these things. But tell us about it.
No, I've just been thinking about community
Yeah.
and codes of conduct and enforcement for codes of conduct. No reason really, just kind of an interesting topic. But I actually one of the things I've been thinking about is the especially when researching this the codes of conduct and enforcement of it and treat how we treat people. Um, I at first thought it was really important for open source projects, and it definitely is because people have the option to just leave and get out of the project. So you really want to treat people well so they stick around and have it be welcoming to other people. But I don't think industry is really that different. I think that people have the ability to just get another job, so or work on a different project. So I think these are important for industry as well. So I took a look at two sets of codes of conduct and the enforcement of those. So the PSF has a code of conduct, and I'm not gonna read them all out, but there's things like being open, being friendly, and there's in there there's a list of inappropriate behaviors as well that's covered. Now, also the Django code of conduct, they also have, I mean, all of these, when you read them, there are differences, but when you read them, they kind of sound the same. And trying to be, one of the things they highlight in the Django one is be careful with your choice, choice of words, including, and they include examples of harassment, speech, and exclusionary behavior that's not appropriate. One of the things that, oh my God, I'm chuckling because you guys are like switching your backgrounds on me while
Sorry,
I'm
Brian.
talking.
I don't mean to derail you. Please keep going. It's an important topic.
Um, but the one of the big differences I saw was the enforcement. So the PSF is a 2/3 majority vote enforcement sort of thing to like make sure if something happens, like if they want to kick somebody out or put them on probation or something. And
I think that's really important because if you require 100% majority and somebody who is on the team that decides is potentially part of the problem, then what do you do, right? It's really tricky. I mean,
right.
if people are just going to abandon a project, right, you would rather have just a strong majority make a decision.
I also think that PSF has probably got a larger, possibly as a larger working group on this, and is more, I guess, maybe harder to get a hold of people. Maybe it's easier to get a 2/3 than maybe you can't even reach all 100% of the group. But anyway, the other interesting difference is the PSF code of conduct seems to, I know it does cover online interaction as well as events like the at conferences and meetups and stuff. But I possibly, at least I think that maybe its focus might be more on events, whereas the Django code of conduct is specifically targeted towards online interactions. And
I would say for the PSF that sort of historically, events were the first place where codes of conduct were introduced. But we've been using them for online forums more and more in the past few years.
Okay. Yeah. One of the interesting things that with the Django one is that a single person on the committee can act without collaborating with anybody else if it's an ongoing problem or if there's a threat involved or something. They still have to go through the process of notifying everybody else. But there is an interesting thing that one person on the committee can intervene right away. I'm not saying one is better than the other, or I just think it's interesting, and I think it's important for new projects to think about maybe not just their code of conduct, but how they're going to enforce it and what the timeline. So the Django one also includes some timelines, which is interesting. And I would really like to make sure that projects kind of practice, maybe figure out what they're going to do if they need to enact one of these things without, before it becomes a problem, they know what they're going to do. So anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with some projects out there. So having a couple of examples and side-by-side comparisons, I think is great.
I was interested to find out our meetup, like our the Python meetup that we started, which is on hold right now, unfortunately, because of the virus and quarantine and stuff. But because we were getting support from the Python Software Foundation to help pay for the meetup fees and stuff, that we had to list a code of conduct on our meetup page and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but I didn't realize that.
Right. Yeah. The PSF has been doing that for a few years now.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you for watching this segment of the Python Bytes podcast. This video was made during the recording of the full episode. Visit pythonbytes.fm and get the whole story. Subscribe to the podcast and get the entire episode delivered to your phone. Please support our work by taking one of the courses at pythonbytes.fm/courses or learning PyTest with Brian's book at pythonbytes.fm/PyTest. Finally, visit our sponsor shown on the screen here. Visit the link on the screen and get the special offer for Python Bytes and YouTube listeners. Thanks, and have a great rest of your day.